Let's get this Twitter space started. Let's get the sound going. Look like that. Into my trade view. Why look like this? Are you serious? See what the heat map looks like to start off. Like a pretty green bowl here, looking like a bullish day just from looking at it right here. Oh, I hear music though. Gotta be able to hear the people in nature. The sound was working. Make sure that sound was working. Tweet out the space really quick. If we get to these charts. All right. Let's see what's happening in the world right now. Yes, the video editor. Start with a little bit of news, see what they're talking about. If there's any highlights. My dogs.
They are having a strong morning. Excuse me.
What do you think of that?
What do I think of it?
Yeah, the bank's having a strong morning.
Well, I think it's indicative of a belief, perhaps, that we're closer to the end of this mini crisis than we are to the
beginning. They should be
beginning.
selling in tech and buying back banks, because that was an algo trade.
What was an algo trade?
Selling banks, buying tech, selling companies with bad balance sheets.
By the way, I think you could say that about virtually anything in this market.
Not oils.
I mean, maybe we don't talk enough about the power of the quantitatively driven models, the algorithms, so to speak,
because you see them acting at
they
401.
do move enormous amounts of money on a daily basis, and we sit here.
Not unlike Bugsy Siegel had with Las Vegas. I had a vision about NVIDIA. What's the matter with that?
Are you comparing the stock market to Las Vegas?
Well, just in terms of a particular business model.
When the active guys who can make money picking stocks come back? What is this, 1996?
David, no. You take Will Danoff, the Contra Fund.
Will Danoff has run the Contra Fund for a very long time.
He's beaten the market consistently. I mean, you can beat the market. But the S&P's, first of all, it's an active fund. Let's just own that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, when they drop whatever ne'er-do-well bank that comes out next, they're going to put in probably something like Palo Alto Network because it's got 4 Qs of GAAP earnings. So it's just constantly updating itself.
It is right. 13.3% of the S&P right now is made up of 2 companies, Apple and Microsoft.
Well, what do you want to do about Apple? They went to China. Not bad.
No, Tim Cook went to China.
Yeah, not bad.
Tim Cook went to China.
And he's still there.
Looking at Tesla this morning.
Given the percentage of sales that come from that country.
Let's look at Tesla really quick. You see Tesla off of open. I felt like it was going to push based off where I opened that. Tesla to 204. Could be a good play for early morning. That might be a position I take because I was looking to take a call on Tesla this morning based on market momentum. SPY, not so sure about. I'll be careful with the SPY. It's going to face a hard resistance at 399. This level right here, so I wouldn't jump all in with the SPY that early. Wait to see how this plays out because it could go back below 398.15. That may be a prime place to grab a call for rallying into momentum, catch it down between 398.15, 396.50. It's really the level. And play a call off of that and play the bounce back up to 400. I don't think we're going to break back down below 395.11. So if you grab it around this area, grab a call around 396.50, that'll be a good stop loss with a good amount of take profit. With the odds on your side for taking profit are much more beneficial if you start taking this trade down here versus right here. Right here is more 50-50. You could go either way. So that's what timing on trades is important. You got to time the trade properly. My OBS studio keep disconnecting. What's going on there? What's going on with the studio disconnecting on me like that? Alright, so SPY I'm looking at, and Tesla. Tesla is coming out strong this morning. Let's see what their contracts look like right now on Tesla. Let's look at Tesla contracts. They're usually pretty expensive, so you gotta be careful with Tesla. Alright, they got some 215 calls for $70 right now. That'll probably be the price range. It's pretty far out the money for a company like Tesla that moves pretty rapidly though. That's a 10% to break even, but I don't really ever plan on holding to break even unless we have crazy movement in that direction. So, based off of early momentum and how last week ended off for Tesla, I really did like them for calls if they closed above this 191 level. So, I'm thinking about going in right here with a 217 call. But let's see how it reacts on the second candlestick of the day. Let's see what volume does. Even though I think it's going to keep picking up, honestly. Unless there's a massive market reversal. So I'm in on that trade right now. We're going to ride this until 200. We're going to get out before this 204 resistance. So Tesla touches anywhere around 200 today. That's where we exit the trade. Or if it dips below 191, exit the trade. All right. Now, let's go down the list and see what's going on in the markets with everybody in the space today. It's Monday morning. Like I said, the stock heat map gives you a good feel of what the market in general is doing. Like most of the market is green today. Where is, oh, here goes Tesla, consumer durables. I don't know why the heat map doesn't update frequently like that. All right, here you go. Here goes the more updated look at the heat map. Let's see what news is out today. What the big articles are of the day. We're in the trade right now, so we're gonna watch that trade closely. Pull Tesla up here. So we had our range right here on Tesla. See, we have a bullish start. Want to see if we start seeing resistance probably around this 200 level. We get out that trade. So opening candlestick, it had 180,000 buys to 56,000 sales. So we'll see how that momentum holds up throughout the day. And with the SPY, what the hell just happened? With the SPY, we were going to test 399.74 as the resistance. I think that's the level we're going to test, for 400 being a psychological resistance. So watch out for those levels today. But we're getting stronger on the MACD. You see this weakness is fading out right here. We may be coming into strength. The first candlestick had negative 70,000 in volume, but still closed green. That's a pretty bullish sign, showing that down volume will have to be picked up. So that's why I want to make it a quick play to get out at 200, because I don't know how long the strength is going to last through the day. So you got to be careful with that. All right, let's go back to the SPY real quick. Let me set up these different charts, change the indicators around. Take off the pivot ribbon off of this one, and we'll put up down volume. I mean, not up down volume. Where is it? Overbought, oversold. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Overbought, oversold. Take this one, change this around. Up, down volume. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Actually, I'll leave that the same. I'll change it on this one. We'll change this to smart money, dumb money. See what the big money and small money is doing. Alright. So right now we were in a sell trend. Overbought, oversold shows that we're starting to break into a buy. Smart money looks pretty flat for the day so far, but it's still early. And dumb money is flat as well. So I don't know how I just did that. It just keeps opening new tabs. Hey, no one told you to do that. So I'm gonna put Tesla on this chart because I want to see this information for Tesla in particular. That's what we're trading right now. We got the overbought, oversold. All right, so we got 4 indicators running for Tesla. We got overbought, oversold, smart money, dumb money, the MACD, and then we have the average. We have the volume, the up down volume here, showing you how much sales, how much shares are being bought versus how many shares are being sold. So those are the main indicators I like to use. There's a couple more that I'll throw in there, like the pivot ribbon and stuff like that. Like right here, you see the pivot ribbon gauging momentum. It shows when the price could be a little bit overextended. Like right now, it's showing the SPY could be a little overextended based on the momentum is maybe pushing a little faster than momentum should be allowing it to. So it shows we could pull back to that 398.15. It could be a strong pullback area, so I just got to keep an eye out for that. And let me see. The same thing with Tesla. You see it's past this green line right here. It shows extended momentum, but that doesn't always mean a pullback. It could just mean it's going to get ready to push some more. That's why I pay attention to those other indicators, especially the ones revolving around volume. Volume is one of the most important movers of the market. If you don't have volume behind your symbol that you're trading, it could be very volatile, and a little bit of buying pressure or selling pressure could cause it to shift drastically in one way or the other. So always pay attention to the volume. All right, let's go down. Let's go through the list. Let's see what's happening today. American Airlines, big red candlestick, now it's printing the green, trying to turn around. Apple, it's pushing all morning. I have a level for Apple somewhere close by. Maybe not. 164. Okay, so yeah, Apple has a decent amount of space where it could push up or it could fall back down to 157. It's kind of like in that middle zone. It could go up $4 or down $4. But Apple's been in good momentum. I don't see any kind of reports or news coming out that should cause a downswing today and kill momentum that's been in the market. So my assumption is we'll see close to 164 today on Apple if we don't do a sideways trading day. So let's go down. Airbnb. Airbnb's hitting the hard top wick right now, showing resistance. Got Airbnb with a level at 121. I like Airbnb, buying an Airbnb underneath 100. In this price range, unless you're trading it, I wouldn't be looking to invest in Airbnb yet. Catch it underneath $100 or close to $100, at least underneath 110, and start loading the boat underneath 100 for sure. What else we got? My little favorite cannabis REIT. Let's see how this has been struggling. AFC Gamma needs to get back up to like $20. AMD today. Oh, that's an ugly wick AMD's producing. What is this? Real ugly. What is they causing a reversal in the market? Something could have just been announced. That's why I like to keep my ear onto the news as well. They're not talking right now. Let me see. The time that these reports came out today, 10 a.m. this report drops. Oh yeah, the 10 a.m. traders are coming in the market as well. You always got to account for that. 10 a.m. traders. So today we got the 2-year auction. That's really the only thing for today is a 2-year auction. So around this time you'll start seeing more price action. 10 o'clock traders start coming in. Some people want to sell, take gains, and then re-enter positions. Sometimes this could cause a reversal in the market. That 10 o'clock move could cause, if it was having a positive open, it could cause it to shift negative because the 10 o'clock traders may have a different sentiment after they've seen how the markets were moving, which is why sometimes I don't even trade until after 10 o'clock till about 10:30, unless I feel like I found a strong move early in the morning or someone that's rallying strong or holding strength. AMD is struggling right now, and I'm pretty sure that's affecting everything else as well in the market. Everything else is probably seeing you're seeing top wick on Amazon right here. ARK showing a heavy top wick. AstraZeneca gapped up crazy, but they're gonna pull back most likely. But like I said, this could be due to the 10 o'clock trader jumping in and doing a sell-off from the gains that they gathered over the weekend. And then you could see a pump back up going into 10:30. So sometimes if you saw a rally early in the morning and you didn't catch it early enough, you could wait till 10, catch the pullback, and then jump in on this pullback. Like you see Bank of America pulling back right here. If you weren't able to catch Bank of America on open at 27.92, maybe you'll catch it on this pullback. But if you missed the opportunity in this pullback and we end up taking off again, that was probably your last chance to catch it at this level today. But I like Bank of America underneath 30. That's one of the companies I do. One of the banking institutions I wouldn't mind investing in underneath $30. You see my choir back here. My dog choir starts barking random times. Just randomly. They just decide to start talking loudly to each other. I'm going to play this video right now so I can mute my mic.
They continue to be aggressive on price.
They got it. They were able to take price, and there were no issues. So it's rather an incredible story. I think the story can go much higher.
What's the story tonight?
I'm going to have the cheapest bank stock there is. Now, David's going to be busy watching the show. He'll know that. He'll be like, boy, Jim just really winged that one. But I actually spent a lot of time.
You never wing your show.
Thank you
Never.
very much. By the way, Wingstop downgraded to sell. I thought that was wrong.
Yeah, what's the one we didn't get to?
Yeah, it was just a cheap shot.
And Ollie's, we didn't do Ollie's either.
Oh, I mean, supply chain issues, Ollie's. Has the guy ever been doing Ollie's? I bought some really good water damage books about World War II at Ollie's. Like 10 for like $6.
Really?
Amazing price. And I got a tarp. No holes in it either, by the way.
You got a tarp with no holes, and you bought water damage books.
Well, I mean, like, David, how do you think I got rich?
See you tonight.
Yep.
Matt Muddy, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. When we come back, a lot more on this First Citizens SVB deal, helping to lift the regional banks today. And there's Bill Reddy of Pinterest. We'll talk to him on the heels of this upgrade over at UBS. With S&P still swirling around 4K. Don't go anywhere.
All right. That 400 level is what we're going to float and test today, I say. But if we break that, if we're able to break that, we're going to have a heavy push into today. But that 400 level is going to show strong resistance. I'm pretty sure of it. We had a decent little push up. We could fill this gap back down to 36.30 today before we really rally and take off. So watch out for that. Or we could just bounce from here and start taking off. But I usually tend to respect gaps. Like when I see a gap up or gap down, there's always a potential for that to be filled before we take off in the opposite direction. It all depends on market momentum. Right now, the morning momentum has been negative. 240,000 buys, 260,000 sales, 20,000 difference, or 27,000 difference. Right now, we had a negative 40,000 difference, so still more selling pressure. But the buys are still there. So as long as the buys keep flowing in, the selling pressure starts to fade off into the morning, then usually happens going towards 11 o'clock. Then we'll see a rapid takeoff from there. The Bears versus the Bulls. The Bears versus the Bulls. It's always the Bears versus the Bulls. Let's see. Let's see what news articles came out today. Okay, top stories. Let's look at the top stories. SEC's ordering securities to be delisted from Coinbase. Apple is about to start its own movie production. I did hear about that. They start off with Apple TV. They see all that money in the movie industry, man. It's lucrative. It's a lucrative industry if you could get a good series of show going. Just throw stuff at the wall till it sticks like Netflix. Something's gonna stick, right? Ethereum has an airdrop going on. Listen, anytime you hear airdrop, you gotta see. Arbitrum, ARB. Okay. The governance token ARB down. I gotta keep up with the news. Oh no, this is not what I was looking for. $1,700. Let's find a support right here. Ethereum could, I had some levels on Ethereum. Where the levels at? Where my levels at? Where are my levels? Where are my levels? Oh, here we go. Why are no levels on this one? Anyway, 1746 is a support. Look at it on daily. It's just too much price action. Intraday. Here we go. Here goes some levels right there. Yeah, I was gonna say once it breaks 2,000, that's gonna be a major mental hurdle for Ethereum to break through. So at 1750 is finding support at this level. If it continue to hold, be a good time to buy in and ride the momentum up over 2,000. Yeah, let's check on Tesla. Tesla has entered into what's showing on overbought, oversold as this is the time to start selling. So let's not ignore our indicators. Let's take a check here. Let's look at the volume on it. And let's say, okay, could be because of this last candlestick and how red it was, but this is obviously a bounce back candlestick. So let's give this one time to play out. And that'll be about 10:15. Hopefully by 10:30 we could be out of this trade. So let's see what the momentum does here. Indicators aren't life, but they help give you some kind of, forewarning or foreshadowing of what's to come. So Tesla may start switching into sell momentum based on overbought, oversold, and the MACD weakening. But like I said, I want to see how this 15-minute candlestick does right here. If this continues to break down, then that confirms what it's showing here. But one counteracting force to this is smart money starting to buy. And you want to go out further on the chart and look at daily momentum. It's a more macro look. So daily momentum is still strong. Let's look at the 4-hour momentum. 4-hour momentum is actually getting ready to cross up over into the green. So that's a little less macro than daily, but it's a better view than 15 and the hourly. The hourly is still strong, and the hourly caught a bullish signal at 8 a.m. pre-market. So there are more bullish long-term signs, macro, for Tesla than there are bearish. So that's what I like to look at. Even on this, let's look at these indicators on the daily. You see the overbought, oversold is pushing up higher. You see smart money is still buying heavy in the daily trend. 4-hour, it just crossed into a buy trend on the 4-hour. You see dumb money starting to buy heavy this morning, so that could cause an early push. And if smart money jumps in behind them, that's going to push it definitely over 200. And on the hourly, we're sitting a pretty decent gain in momentum. So the 15, usually the shorter time frames will flash a signal early, sometimes prematurely. Like the 3-minute, you see it's been saying sell for a while now. And like these are good for intraday trading. Don't get me wrong, these intraday, these shorter time frames, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, good for intraday trading. But don't put all your eggs into what they tell you unless you're really looking to get out the trade like right now. Then you'd be like, okay, should I get out right now or should I stay in? Right now, if I was looking to get out, I'd be like, all right, I'll just sell right here. If I made the profits I was looking for already. Or if I saw it was just such a strong reversal from what I see to be happening, then I'll be like, okay, I gotta get out. This is Ethereum we're looking at though. Tesla. So Tesla on the 15, Tesla on the 5, leg is breaking down. So you see, that's what's causing this stalling right here. See the momentum starting to break down on the 5. We'll see if that ends up crossing over. That'll be an early bearish sign. And then we'll see what the 15 does to follow that up. But it is struggling at this level. I'm not going to lie. This 196 level, Tesla is finding itself struggling. And the same thing with SPY. That's why, because SPY is struggling at that 398.15. It broke down below that 398.15 level. So we could be looking at a bearish push right here, but still early in 10 o'clock, 10:06. Let's see how that pans out. See what they're talking about in the news.
In the Biden administration, given their more stringent approach to regulatory matters. In fact, the FTC and DOJ holding a spring enforcers summit. That's going on right now. Chair Lina Khan took the stage last hour to talk her outlook for antitrust. She also addressed the rise in artificial intelligence, apps and programs and things of that nature, and how she views that competition.
when you have these moments of technological transition, when the underlying technology or the underlying platform is potentially about to shift, that's when you see the incumbents start to panic. Right. I mean, that's the lesson of Microsoft. That's the lesson, going back when we were seeing the shift from desktop to mobile. That you see the incumbents sometimes having to resort to anti-competitive tactics to protect their moats and protect their dominance. And so this is another transition that we're looking at closely to make sure that if this is an opportunity for competition to really enter the market and disrupt, that we're allowing that to happen rather than illegal tactics.
Interesting perspective there. Of course, a point we've made a number of times about now, we talk so often about this generative AI. You see OpenAI, ChatGPT 4, Bard at Alphabet, but they're, Mike, very expensive to run.
Yeah.
Not just the computing power, getting a hold of the data, the enormous data sets. It's not as though you can start a company and just have access to what you need to actually be able to run those in a broad way. So it'll be interesting to see how it all figures out. I mean, the fact is Microsoft really is supporting OpenAI itself with the enormous amount of money that they've dedicated towards owning a portion of that company.
It is interesting. Yeah, so it's not just, I created a user interface, I have an algorithm, this is going to be a better mousetrap, and we can own this area. It is fascinating, though, with Microsoft being there
we need to bring 197.39 on Tesla.
At trying to seize on this and as they did with web browsers and all the rest of it. So, there's some echoes there of how prior moments of disruption, were taken advantage of by a dominant player. The DOJ noticed back then.
Yeah. So. Of course, the focus continues, for example, for Lina Khan, potentially on
Microsoft has been a beast. I love Microsoft.
That's a deal we talked about
Microsoft and Apple in the long
Friday
term.
When Microsoft got certainly what was much more positive news from the UK's antitrust regulator, the CMA. In many ways, reversing some of the opposition they had, at least when it comes to the console market in their view of that country.
Microsoft got
that said,
like
there's still an issue of the cloud market, although it's a relatively nascent market.
The cheapest you could have got
and then
Microsoft
there's the question as to whether the FTC will
220.
continue with its case to be heard by an administrative law
Microsoft held pretty
judge
strong
sometime late in the summer. I think perhaps August. You're going to need to have that deal, the actual agreement extended as of June, if in fact the FTC doesn't drop their opposition. Seems unlikely, but if they were to get the go-ahead from the CMA and the EU, you never know.
For sure. I also find it interesting, given that all else being equal, this would be a time when you'd probably see the big tech companies just mopping up a bunch of, other players that
going back
came
into
public in the
strength
last
on
few
Tesla
years,
here.
Have fallen on hard times.
There's so little that they feel as though they can
above
really
that 197
even
high
with
of
the
the
smaller
day.
deals being potentially up to
10
challenge.
o'clock traders got their selling out.
Amazon
Now they're
iRobot,
starting to
for example.
reposition.
Yeah, exactly. And private equity is always what people talk about, but there's just, as much.
So as you start to trade more, you start getting a rhythm of the market and how things operate, especially at certain times of the day. It's not always guaranteed, but they're definitely catalysts. So 10 o'clock, 9:30 market open, where everybody knows that first candlestick is very all over the place crazy, but it sets the tone for the day, essentially. And then the following candlesticks, it's like in between, and then the 10 o'clock comes out. And at 10 o'clock is where you start seeing a push or a reversal on the early trend, like we did right here in this candlestick. But 10 o'clock is going to confirm that push or reversal that happened on the 9:45 candlestick. So 10 o'clock is going to say, okay, this reversal, we're going to keep pushing down, that's confirmed. Or it's going to say, no, that was just people selling off. And now at 10 o'clock, people did a little bit of selling as well, but now we're going to start pushing. Because we see this is the direction we want to take the market today. There's more favoritism for buying today. And then usually by 11 o'clock, 11:30, momentum picks up a little bit. And then by 11:30, 12, momentum slows down. Lunchtime, all the way until like 1 o'clock. Around 1:30-ish, momentum may start picking back up. Into 2 o'clock, momentum picks back up pretty heavy. And then 3 o'clock, power hour momentum gets real rapid for like the last maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes of the market. So you got to have a pulse for the market, understand what phase you're in. Because sometimes you'll get buying in on a high at lunchtime, and then you'll be like, oh man, it's not pushing anymore, I need to get out. But it's just lunchtime, so volume decreases a lot, which is why you're not going to be seeing that push that you were looking for. But if you got in the power hour and you see that volume is not pushing, then yeah, you're probably in the wrong position, because in power hour it's going to pick a direction to push, usually either up or down by a couple points, especially in the SPY. So you see the SPY bottom wick in here is finding support. I know 396.50 is a heavy support for SPY, but you can see right here where it developed that support, where it leveled out, it pushed up and leveled out right around here. So this is going to serve as a support, and that's right where my level is at anyway. And some of these levels are levels I made back from chart from weeks ago, weeks. So it shows how these levels hold throughout time and how the market continues to trade off of these prices until it breaks into a new price range. But once you have price levels established in a certain price range, those should be pretty solid whenever the stock's trading in that range. So S&P could take off to 450, 500. If we ever pull back into the 300s, I know these are the levels I could play, because these are the levels the market plays off of when it gets in that range. That's why leveling is so important. That's one of the most important things I had to learn to do. Before, it was just a lot of based off of momentum and feel for the day. And like, oh yeah, Tesla like has bullish signals. It just seems bullish momentum for the day. Let me buy calls. But if you buy a call and it's right near a resistance level like 204 and I'm buying a call, it can hit that resistance and reject heavy. Then I'll be super confused as to why it rejected. Like, damn, why didn't it keep pushing? I just didn't have the right price level set. Like right now, I could look on a daily and see like we may be at a certain kind of level right now for Tesla, which is why it's struggling so much at this 196. Might be a level that was developed and created over the past couple weeks that I didn't put in yet. So let's look and see if we can identify like a 3-touch zone. I would say probably right around right there will be a little resistance. So what did I put? It's 197.67. That's about right, based on what I see as far as daily, how many times it will touch that and push down before. And then if it breaks up above that, it usually pushes pretty strong once it breaks above that line. Like you can see back here, anytime we push above, we start breaking out over 200. That's why I said if we push over this, I'm looking at like 200 as my stop out, get out right around here before we start hitting any real resistance. But we got to break this level first. Got to break this level first. So the 10 o'clock, the 9 o'clock hourly candlestick closed out pretty strong. This is the 10 o'clock hourly. These don't close until the end of the hour. So this one will end at 11 o'clock. But right now, we should have had a 15-minute candlestick close. 15 closed slightly lower. So what's the volume? Like negative 32. Yeah, like volume picking up to the downside here. So want to be careful and keep an eye. Like I said, 191.36 is support. But first support we'll see. And if we get down to like 194.30, probably should exit right there before it breaks down further. If it can't bounce off of that level. Because it shows that we're breaking down the momentum right now. Tesla's one of those weird companies, I'm telling you. The SPY is still in deep red territory as far as momentum. On the 15-minute, it will have to break back above this 398.15. It will have to close back above there. But this 15-minute candlestick just started, so let's see. Went from negative 29, negative 27, negative 29 to negative 11. So the negative momentum is weakening a little bit on SPY. Let's see if that continues to reverse or if it gets stronger down the downside. But like I said, I like watching the trade I'm in the most, which is Tesla. Overbought, oversold, and gave us the sell signal right here. So this is making me keep a very close eye on this moves that it's making in this price range. Let's see, we opened at 194.40. So you don't want to push below open. You definitely want to try to hold open. opening price as like a support level. But it looks like it's breaking down, so you gotta get ready to look to stop out because you don't want to get caught in a super downward spiral. But you also don't want to exit prematurely. So let's see what they're talking about.
There are plenty of properties, as Diana just pointed out, that are getting converted. The big issue for major MSAs where you have the real issues right now, I mean, you look at the three highest occupancy or vacancy rates in office today. They are Houston, Dallas, and San Francisco. In those major MSAs, most of those office buildings are large footprint office buildings. So when you've got a 20,000 square foot footprint, you can't put residential into that because people need windows just from a safety and soundness standpoint, much less what they actually want to live in. And so the larger the footprint, the harder it is to convert to multi. And so really it's much smaller office buildings that are projects to be converted. And there are plenty of those going on across the country. But as Diana said, that's not going to save the industry. You're going to have banks come in and rework these loans. You're going to have the special servicers in CMBS work with them. But one of the other pieces to it, David, that's important to remember is, the Wall Street Journal loves to put on the front page that Brookfield or Blackstone has defaulted on an office loan. But in CMBS pools, which is the leading indicator here, because we really don't know about bank balance sheets nearly as clearly as we do in CMBS, office delinquencies are still below 3%. And so the asset class is still performing very well. And so while everyone's trying to find that canary in the coal mine as it relates to what this impact might be, those office loans that were done by CMBS were lower leverage with higher debt service coverage than CMBS 1.0. And so you still have over 2 times debt service coverage on those office CMBS loans. So working them out, is really the only thing to do.
Right. And to your point, obviously, the underwriting was a lot stronger than it was perhaps, let's call it 5 to 10 years earlier. But if there is no willingness on the banks to sort of really put new capital to work here, I mean, there's still going to be development. Well, there are people who are still going to need to put up office buildings in certain places where it's deserving of that. So where does that capital come from, or what does it mean overall to the commercial real estate industry?
Well, that's the big problem, David, as it relates to the banking crisis we're seeing right now, because local and regional banks are the ones that make construction loans. And so as they pull back and try and have massive liquidity on their balance sheets, they're not going to go out and extend that loan for a new construction project.
God saviors. The government is saving us.
They want to have a lot of liquid assets, and construction loans aren't liquid assets. So what ends up happening? You don't get new supply. The existing inventory then inflates in value. Rents then go up, and those inflationary pressures that the Fed is trying to tamp down right now come roaring back. And so it really is a very significant issue as it relates to getting liquidity back into the regional and local banking system so they can start writing new construction loans. What you will find on this, the reason we have so many deliveries right now is because every bank, every debt fund was writing a construction loan 2 years ago. It's essentially a 2-year development cycle, particularly in the multifamily space. So what you would then look out to is and say, Q2 of 2025, there will be no deliveries. And as a result of that, the existing inventory goes up in value and rents go up.
Right. The marketplace adjusts. Willie, it's a longer conversation, one that we will continue in the months ahead, but certainly appreciate your taking time this morning. Thank you.
It's great to see you, David.
As we head to a break here, let's give you a quick roadmap for the rest of the hour. What investors do with bank stocks from here, a number of them, as you've seen, are rallying today following that deal for assets from SVB.
Plus, we're live from one of America's biggest retail conferences, Shop Talk. The CEO of Pinterest joined.
So SVB is getting more offers from other banks. I think First Citizens Bank put in an offer to buy most of their debt from consumers right now. But a lot of that movement happened pre-market already. I don't know how much of it is going to happen during the day. Let's see. Let's go on to finance. Yeah, everybody in here is pretty much in the green today. Bank of America being one of the most. Let's see how much they move off of open. So Bank of America open, let's say at 27.92, they're up about 70 cents. So That's not too drastic of a move for the day. But from pre-market, yeah, that was when the real jump took place right here. When they jumped up from $27, 27.20 to $27.70. That was a 50-cent jump, and then they've been pushing up since then. So let's see. Bank of America could break back over 30 sometime soon. But that's, I believe, it's a level I have on it. 26.32 support with a 30.48 resistance. Yep, $30. Like I said, once it breaks back over 30, then you're gonna start seeing some resistance. But Bank of America could rally. Has potential too. It's just a slow mover, boy. Bank of America will slow grind on you. And then sometimes it will just stay stagnant for the whole week at a certain price, like up and down with the sideways trading. So that's why I don't like option trading Bank of America, because it can give you a lot of sideways action for a couple of days in a row before they decide to make a jump up move like they did. But this was over the weekend. So unless you swung a call from Friday, you weren't going to catch that move. But I say keep an eye. Always keep an eye. They're good for long term if you're looking for something financial, like a financial sector of your portfolio. You could look at Bank of America. Who is this? My bill gonna have an updated look. Why y'all updating the look of my bill, Sprint? I don't care. As long as I don't charge me more. All right. So back to Tesla. Back to the darling of the day. Struggling right here at this level, as we see. Still struggling to push up. What's the volume looking like? Negative 10,000 to negative 30,000. This volume has to pick up on this candlestick for me to be a believer. Let's close at 10:30 with positive volume. That'll give me a sign that we're going to push back up. But if we keep closing with heavier negative volume, that is not a good sign. So if we go from negative 10 to negative 30 back into positive volume, that'll let me know we could be in turn and set up for a turnaround here. If we had kept going with negative volume, though, we'd probably be like, let's get out of this trade. But that first candlestick is still holding the support for today right now. Let's see what the 5 minutes is talking about. The 5 minutes been in the red now at this point. The 3 minute still deep in the red, hasn't shown reversal to the upside. So a lot of the times for early signal of reversal, you could come to the lower time frames and see if these momentum candlesticks start to lighten up. That'll show you that momentum is starting to reverse to the upside. But right now, it's still showing a lot of strong pressure to the downside, even on the 3 minute, which is the smallest time frame. So I need this time frame to show reversal for me, so I know that we're starting to come back up. If not, it's going to look like we're going to keep pushing down. Which is what it's doing right now, exactly what I'm saying. But we got our stop right here, 194.20. Don't want to be premature. We set that level for a reason. Just hope it doesn't break it. But what I'm seeing is the rally from last week starting to lose its steam. We had a pretty strong rally through the week last week through stocks, but not really on Tesla. Tesla had a little pullback. Let me look on the daily really quick. Let me start looking at this 15. Look at the daily. Yeah, Tesla had a up-down week last week. It went all the way up above this 197 level. Let's see, is that Friday? Yeah, this is last week. Last week, Monday, started down here, 189 level, and it took off, gapped up, touched 195, and has not been able to break that since. So if you even look on the daily, you'll see how this line has been serving heavy resistance, the intraday line we made today. So it's a good thing I went back in and put that level, because that is definitely intraday resistance level. on the daily that we're facing. You can see it here. We hit it. Try to push above it here. Resisted. Here we hit it. Pushed above for a second. Resisted. Didn't try it again here. And then today we're trying it again. So that'll be 1, 2, 3 touches on that level already. In the last week, we touched 197 3 times. So it's trying to break it. It's knocking at the door. Keeps knocking.
Into that process when it comes to boosting consumer data.
So, AI and computer vision has really been at the core of Pinterest for some time. And as we're now tasking that AI with creating better shopping recommendations, we're seeing really good results from that. Tangible evidence of that. When a user looks for related items on our site, which you can discover in real-world imagery. So went and saw Taylor Swift here in town last night.
Lucky.
As if you thought, oh, I really want to have that pair of shoes that she wore on this particular set, you can find an image of that on Pinterest. You can find out what those shoes were. But then Pinterest will also make recommendations of, okay, here's those exact shoes, but here's a whole bunch of ones like it so you can shop the look. And we consistently get 95% plus relevancy scores from our users on those recommendations. So when we've pointed the AI toward these shopping problems, 95% plus relevancy from users is phenomenally high. And it's both because of our AI capabilities, but AI is only as good as the signal upon which it's acting. And so we have 450 million plus users on Pinterest that make these product associations. So when we pair that with really good AI, that's how we're able to make those really fantastic recommendations.
Are you more advanced on AI than your competitors?
Well, I would say the primitives of AI and sort of the building blocks through cloud computing, the building blocks of AI are going to be